Once upon a time, in a small village right next to a deep, dark forest, there lived a little girl. She was the nicest, sweetest, cutest little girl you've ever seen. Everyone in the village loved the girl, and her mother and grandmother adored her. And the little girl loved them back. She always helped her mother around the house and would often visit her grandmother in the neighboring village. One day, the girl's grandmother gave her a beautiful red cloak with a hood for her birthday. The little girl loved the gift so much, she wore it every single day. She wore it during the week, and on the weekend, and on holidays. That's why people started calling her Little Red Riding Hood. Find all the moving pictures to start the game.
Oh, loo, 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 loo.
Good job! Find out where the linen went and hang it back on the clothesline. One day, the girl's mother was making some sweet dough and baking tasty pies. The flaky golden brown pies were just begging to be eaten. Little Red Riding Hood's mother called her over and said,
"Why don't you go and visit your grandma? Make sure she's healthy and that everything's all right. And while you're at it, bring her one of those pies I just baked. And don't forget to take a bowl of butter with you."
Little Red Riding Hood went to the pantry, found a basket, and put the pie and a bowl of butter in it. Then she put on her favorite dress and the hooded cloak. She waved goodbye to her mother and went off down the forest path, which led right to the village where her grandmother lived.
Find all the moving pictures to start the game.
While she was walking through the woods, she met a big bad wolf. He was licking his chops and dreaming about eating the little girl. But no such luck. There were some woodcutters nearby, chopping down trees with their axes. The wolf said,
"Where are you going, Little Red Riding Hood?"
The little girl didn't know it was dangerous to talk to wolves. She stopped and said hello.
I'm going to visit my grandmother. I've got a present for her.
And the wolf asked,
"Where does your grandmother live?"
In the village, on the other side of the forest, behind the mill, in the last house on the lane,"
said Little Red Riding Hood.
"I want to visit your grandmother too,"
said the wolf.
Let's see who can get there first. I'll take this path, and you take that one.
Find all the moving pictures to start the game. And so they finished talking and went their separate ways. Little Red Riding Hood took the long path, the one the wolf had showed her. The wolf ran as fast as he could along the shorter one. Little Red Riding Hood walked slowly. She gazed at the clouds and looked at the trees. Every now and then, she would stop to make a garland out of flowers. She hadn't even reached the mill by the time the sneaky wolf, who had taken the shorter path, came to her grandmother's house. He cleared his throat and knocked on the door. Knock, knock,
Who's there?
asked Grandmother. The wolf replied in a high-pitched voice.
Open up, Grandmother. It's your granddaughter, Little Red Riding Hood. I brought you some presents, a pie and a bowl of butter.
Find all the moving pictures to start the game.
Grandmother usually waited by the window for Little Red Riding Hood and opened the door herself. But this time, she was sick in bed. Grandmother thought it was really her dear granddaughter, Little Red Riding Hood, and shouted,
Just pull the rope, my dear, and let the door open.
So the wolf pulled the rope and the door opened. The wolf hadn't eaten anything for a week and was starving. As soon as the door opened, he jumped onto the bed and gobbled Grandmother up in one bite. Only her bonnet and her glasses were left. The satisfied wolf closed the door, took Grandmother's place in bed, and waited for Little Red Riding Hood. Meanwhile, Little Red Riding Hood had just reached her grandmother's house. She walked up to the door and knocked. Knock, knock,
Who's there?
asked the wolf in his hoarse, husky voice. When Little Red Riding Hood heard the voice, she got scared. Then she thought her grandmother must be sick, and that her voice must be husky because she had a cold.
It's me, your granddaughter.
Said Little Red Riding Hood.
I brought you a pie and a bowl of butter.
The wolf cleared his throat and said in a high-pitched voice,
Just pull the rope, my dear, and the door will open.
Little Red Riding Hood had no idea about the wolf's treacherous plans. So she pulled the rope, and the door opened. Little Red Riding Hood came in, and the wolf covered himself with the blanket and said,
Hello, my dear. Put the pie and the butter on the table. Then come and lie down on the bed next to me and rest from your journey.
The girl did what the wolf told her to do. She laid down next to the wolf and asked,
Oh, Grandmother, why are your ears so big?
All the better to hear you with, my dear,
said the wolf.
Oh, Grandmother, why are your eyes so big?
All the better to see you with, my dear.
Oh, Grandmother, why are your teeth so big?
All the better to eat you with.
Roared the wolf, gobbled up Little Red Riding Hood, cloak, boots, and all. Find all the moving pictures to start the game. After the big bad wolf ate Grandmother and Little Red Riding Hood, he felt like taking a nap. But no such luck. Fortunately, the woodcutters were on their way into the woods with their axes over their shoulders, and they passed right by Grandmother's house. They heard a suspicious noise from far away. So they ran up to the house, broke down the door, and saw the big bad wolf. The wolf saw the woodcutters and got scared. He knew he was in trouble, so he tried to climb out the window. But the woodcutters caught him and chopped him up. When they cut through his belly, Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother popped out. Safe and sound. Find all the moving pictures to start the game.